The bell rang, a low chime like a dying star sighing. Students filed out of the gravity-anchored learning chamber, most floating slightly above the floor in their tailored anti-grav robes. Only one walked. Zeke Callahan. Boots thudded with deliberate weight as he moved down the hex-glass hallway. He didn't hover, didn't shimmer, didn't glow like the rest. No tattoos, no implants, just canvas sneakers, scuffed jeans, and a patched-up jacket that bore a faded Earth flag on the left shoulder. No one wore Earth flags here. Not anymore. 3 Klaxel initiates stepped aside as he passed. Not from fear, curiosity, maybe. One muttered in her native tongue, all clicks and hums. Zeke didn't react. He kept his hands in his pockets and eyes forward. From above, sunlight filtered through the atmospheric dome. It wasn't real sunlight, just a simulation of Soul's dying warmth programmed for nostalgic effect. The kind of thing aliens thought would make humans feel at home. It didn't. Callahan, a sharp voice called. Zeke turned his head slowly. Instructor Vasar stood at the archway, crimson cloak trailing like blood across obsidian tiles. His 4 eyes gleamed. You left your post-questionnaire blank. Again. Zeke shrugged. Didn't have questions. The instructor's voice sharpened. It was not for your benefit. It was a psychological alignment screening. You failed to complete your obligations. Zeke tilted his head. Didn't know alignment was mandatory. A few students stopped walking. Vasar's lips curled into a practiced smirk. Tell me, Earthborn, where do you go after class, if you don't even participate? Zeke's response was so casual it felt like a gut punch to everyone who heard it. Home, he said. Sector 9. Old Terran Zone. The hallway froze. Sector 9 was a name whispered in digital corridors, passed between encrypted laughs. No one went there. Not even bots. It was derelict, disavowed, radioactive with social decay. A no-zone. A myth to scare privileged academy kids. You lie. One of the initiates blurted out. Zeke finally looked up, his eyes dark and unreadable. Walk with me. I'll show you. Vasar narrowed his eyes. You are forbidden from bringing others beyond designated zones. Didn't know curiosity was illegal either. He walked off. No one followed. But they watched him disappear through the sliding gate marked unstable pressure zone. Do not enter. The tunnel reeked of rust and burned ozone. Lights flickered on motion sensors 2 decades old. Pipes hissed. Vents rattled. Zeke walked through it like a soldier who'd done it 1,000 times. Halfway through, he passed a wall with names carved into the steel. Human names. Scratched by fingernails, keys, broken pens, whatever they could find. Some names were already crossed out. He stopped briefly at one. Elijah Callahan. He didn't touch it. Outside, Sector 9 unfolded like a wound. No building stood taller than 4 stories. The skyline was cracked. A few broken drones hovered like insects over collapsed monorails. The remnants of Earth's first embassy stood in the distance, its flag torn but not taken down. He made his way to a squat building with no markings. Inside, the walls were reinforced with scavenged Klaxel armor plating. Humans worked silently at terminals powered by salvaged cores. Maps of nearby sectors, troop movements, and political traffic scrolled across makeshift monitors. Zeke threw his jacket on a hook and sat down beside a bald man missing half an arm. Report, the man said without looking. Zeke handed him a data chip. Vasar's pushing boundaries. He wants Earth to slip. The man, known only as Gray, slotted the chip in. And the students? Zeke leaned back. They think I'm stupid. Perfect. Gray gave a short nod. We need to extract the worm protocol from the Academy's mainframe. In 2 days, your next test will grant you access to the interface. Zeke cracked his knuckles. I'll be there. He stood, but Gray held up a hand. Zeke. He turned. Don't lose your temper. That's what they're watching for. Zeke smirked faintly. Then I'll keep pretending I don't have one. Back at the Academy, Vasar stood before the Council of Educators, holograms casting pale light on his stoic features. The human is unstable, he declared. His behavior is erratic. He avoids integration. He refuses to participate. I suspect espionage. A Chara delegate flicked her tongue. And yet, he has not broken any laws. Only bent every protocol, Vaisar said. Monitor him. The council's voice echoed in unison. That evening, Zeke stood on the edge of the Academy's south tower. Stars reflected in the dome above. From here, he could see the faint shimmer of Sector 9's border. No one looked that way. He pulled a small metal object from his pocket. A key, old-fashioned, analog. No one used them anymore. He clenched it in his fist. Behind him, a quiet voice spoke. You don't belong here. Zeke didn't turn. Neither do you. It was the initiate who'd accused him earlier. She stepped forward cautiously. I followed you. I didn't go inside, but I saw enough. He looked at her now. She wasn't scared. Just curious. Why live there? She asked. He studied her for a moment. Because someone has to remember where we came from. She hesitated. You're not like the rest of us. Zeke smiled. That's the idea. He walked past her without another word. As he disappeared into the corridor, she whispered, Where are you going? Zeke's voice echoed back without pause. Home. The Academy's synthetic sunrise flickered a shade too bright. Zeke sat alone in the observation bay, his boots up on the ledge, watching ships glide past the station. His eyes weren't on the stars. They were on the blinking red light in his palm. The transmitter gray had slipped him last night. One blink, plan confirmed. 2 blinks, abort. It pulsed twice. He slipped it into his boot without a word. At midday, the Academy held its annual Unity trial. Students were paired randomly to complete a trust-based challenge, an old diplomatic tradition meant to encourage interspecies collaboration. Zeke had never been invited before. But today, his name echoed through the chamber. Zeke Callahan, Earth, assigned to initiate Rel Claxel. Gasps scattered. Even Rel looked confused. The arena was set, a gravity maze with live energy fields and shifting floors. The goal was simple: reach the center platform without tripping the alarms. Failing meant disqualification. And surveillance. Lots of it. Zeke stepped into the arena first. Rel followed, silent. Why did they pair us? She asked, eyes scanning the shifting tiles. Zeke's tone was dry. Because someone wants to see me fail. Publicly. They moved together, each step timed. Zeke moved with calculated ease. Rel followed his lead, surprised by his precision. You've done this before, she muttered. Zeke didn't answer. Instead, he pointed to a small node half submerged in the maze wall. That's not part of the system. Rel narrowed her eyes. Surveillance? No. A data tap. Someone's recording more than movement. They paused, both aware they were being watched. Zeke adjusted his position so his back blocked the node from sight. We finish this. Fast. No show. Rel nodded. They reached the center without triggering a single field. The silence that followed was too long. Then Vaisar's voice rang out, smooth and calculated. Unexpected. Efficient. But why did Initiate Callahan block visual sensors for 17 seconds? Zeke's jaw tightened. Rel spoke first. I dropped my lens. He shielded my view so I could recover it without disqualification. A beat. Then, understood, Vaisar replied. But the tone was cold. Later that night, Sector 9 was quiet. Too quiet. Zeke entered the command bunker and stopped short. Gray was gone. In his place stood an unfamiliar woman, tall, olive-skinned, eyes sharp as shattered glass. She didn't smile. I'm Lang, she said. Gray's been extracted. Why? Compromised. Vaisar intercepted a relay last night. Someone leaked our location. Zeke crossed his arms. You think it was me? Lang didn't blink. I think you're the only one who walks between both worlds without cover. He stepped closer. I bled for this zone. Don't mistake my silence for disloyalty. Lang stared for a long moment. Then she handed him a tablet. We move up the timeline. You'll access the core tonight. Zeke scanned the schematic. The mainframe's locked behind 3 biometric gates. I only have 1 clearance. Your new partner has the second. Zeke didn't ask who. Lang already knew the question. Rel. She's already agreed. At midnight, Zeke met her outside the archival wing. You sure about this? He asked. Rel's eyes were calm. You said someone had to remember where you came from. I think someone should help you get back. The entry point was deep inside the library vault. 2 guards. Both synthetic. Zeke pulled out a small emitter. Hold your breath. He tossed it. A soft pulse rippled. Both guards powered down, not destroyed, just paused. They moved quickly. Inside, the air changed. Cooler. Older. Rows of encrypted terminals stretched wall to wall. At the back, the biometric console. Rel placed her hand first. Confirmed, Initiate Rel Level Beta. Zeke followed. Confirmed, Cadet Zeke Callahan, Level Alpha. The lock hissed open. The core blinked to life. Streams of data poured in, classified troop redeployments, supply shortages, movement orders. Zeke pulled out the drive Lang had given him and began the transfer. It stalled at 68%. Encrypted subroute, he muttered. There's a hidden layer. Rel leaned in. Override it. Can't. It needs admin clearance. Suddenly, the door behind them hissed. Vasar stepped in, alone. No alarms, he said. I disabled them myself. Zeke didn't move. You were waiting. Of course, Vasar said. You're not the first Callahan to think himself clever. Zeke's hand went to his boot. I wouldn't, the instructor said, voice steady. The dart won't save you. And I want answers more than blood. Rel stepped forward. He's not your enemy. Wrong, Vasar said, almost gently. He's a symbol. And symbols are dangerous when they survive too long. Zeke held up the drive. Then kill me. But understand this, everything you're afraid I'll expose? You just confirmed it. Vasar's eyes darkened. Then he stepped back. Go, he said. Neither moved. I said go. This time, I'll allow it. But next time, there won't be a next time. Zeke pocketed the drive. You just made sure there will be. They left. Back in Sector 9, Lang decrypted the files. Her expression grew grim. This isn't just a reallocation, she said. They're cutting power to the outer colonies. Forcing dependence. Controlled scarcity. Zeke nodded. I figured. Lang looked up. You made an enemy tonight. Zeke shrugged. He started it. She smiled for the first time. Then we make him regret it. Zeke's breath fogged the inside of his rebreather mask as the dropship rattled through upper mode descent. Below, the orbital map displayed the barren outline of Solace Station, humanity's last free outpost in this quadrant, now marked for containment. A polite word for siege. Beside him, Rel adjusted the grip on her pulse rifle. She hadn't spoken since boarding. You don't have to be here, Zeke said, voice low beneath the static buzz of the comms. Rel didn't look at him. I saw what was on that drive. Silence is complicity. Zeke exhaled. That's not why you're here. Finally, she turned. No. I'm here because you think you're disposable. But if you go down, everything you gather dies with you. Someone has to make sure the galaxy hears it. The pilot's voice crackled through. Drop zone approaching. 2 minutes. Inside Solace, everything felt heavier. Gravity was higher by 0.3, barely enough to notice, unless you were already tired. And everyone here was tired. Faces were worn, uniforms mismatched, weapons salvaged. Kids ran errands while mothers patched hulls. A few guards watched the arrivals from behind sandbagged rail guns. They didn't salute. They didn't smile. Zeke and Rel were led to a makeshift war room lit by backup cores. Lang stood at the center, pacing between projection tables and transmission repeaters. Her jaw tightened when she saw them. You weren't supposed to bring her, she snapped. She's the reason I'm alive, Zeke replied. Lang turned to Rel. And if he gets captured, they'll use you to find the rest of us. Rel held her gaze. Then I'll die loud enough that they'll choke on it. Lang gave a bitter smile. You've been spending too much time around Earthborn. She tapped a console, pulling up a Claxel fleet path. They're on the move. We believe Solace will be hit within 36 hours. We don't have the weapons to repel them. We do have your transmission, Zeke. The data you pulled proves a coordinated resource blockade. If we can blast this through the relay towers, we spark enough political unrest in neutral sectors to stall the invasion. Zeke frowned. Then what's the problem? Lang turned. The main relay is off-grid. Mobile. It's a war barge disguised as a comm ship. And it's protected by one of theirs. A new image appeared. Vaysar. His cold gaze scanned the room from the screen like he was already present. Lang tapped the table. He knows you're coming. That night, Zeke walked the upper deck of Solace. No lights. Just stars. Somewhere above, warships prowled like sharks. He sat on a bench overlooking a ruined observation dome, cracked from an earlier strike. Rel joined him, silent. After a long pause, she asked, Do you remember Earth? He nodded slowly. My brother used to chase fireflies in the back fields. We'd bury old batteries in the dirt just to make them glow longer. She smiled faintly. We don't have fireflies. We have glow mites. They bite. He chuckled once, then grew quiet. Elijah died in a Claxel airstrike, he said. I watched from a hill. Couldn't do anything. After that, I stopped asking why we were losing. I started asking what they were willing to hide to keep us quiet. Rel didn't speak. She just placed her hand lightly over his. The next morning, they suited up. The shuttle was unmarked, black as void, and barely held together. Lang briefed them one last time. Infiltrate. Upload. Transmit. Then get out if you can. That order matters. Zeke strapped in. What if he's there? Lang's voice didn't flinch. Then you find a way to win. Or you take him with you. The war barge looked like a floating cathedral, sleek, ominous, humming with energy. Inside, corridors pulsed with anti-skin mesh. Zeke and Rel moved fast, guided by thermal blueprints Lang had given them. They reached the core tower without alerting patrols. Rel sliced into the access panel. 10 seconds. Zeke placed the drive. The upload began. And then it stopped at 14%. Lights snapped red. Vaysar's voice filled the chamber. So predictable, Earthborn. You always return to the scene of your defiance. The far door opened. He entered alone, unarmed, draped in regal crimson. You risk all this for what? A transmission? The truth doesn't matter to the powerful. It only matters to the desperate. Zeke stood his ground. Then maybe it's time the powerful got desperate. Vaysar's eyes narrowed. Do you even know what's on that drive? Zeke hesitated. Vaysar tapped a console. A projection filled the air, schematics, orders, and images. Human bodies. Experiments. Colonist executions masked as compliance events. Rel stepped back in horror. You think this will unite your species? Vaysar asked. It will tear them apart. Half your leaders signed these orders. You were a pawn, Callahan. Nothing more. The words struck. Zeke looked at Rel. She was pale. Shaken. But then she nodded. That's why we can't stop now. Zeke turned back to the console. Upload resumed. Vaysar moved, fast, too fast. Rel blocked him, firing once. A flash of light. Silence. She dropped. Zeke didn't scream. He couldn't. He grabbed her sidearm and fired again. Vaysar staggered, clutching his shoulder. Zeke crossed the room in 3 strides, drove his fist into the alien's throat, and slammed him against the bulkhead. The console chimed. Upload complete. Vesar wheezed. You've doomed them. Zeke didn't respond. He turned, lifted Rel into his arms, and walked out of the chamber. Back on Solace, the news spread like fire. The footage played in every neutral system: executions, backroom deals, the faces of those betrayed. Systems pulled support from the blockade. Protests erupted in the outer rings. Political alliances fractured. Zeke stood over Rel's recovery pod, silent. Lang entered. You did it. He didn't look up. She saved me. Twice. Lang nodded. She'll live. But it cost her everything. Zeke stepped out of the med bay and into the cold corridor. No speeches. No medals. Just the soft hum of a relay tower in the distance, broadcasting truth louder than any weapon. Zeke stood in the ruined observatory above Solace Station, eyes fixed on the stars now crawling with warships. They weren't Klaxel this time. They were Terran. Not relief fleets. Not peacekeepers. Claimers. The truth had spread faster than anyone imagined, across black market comms, diplomatic relays, civilian forums. Entire systems erupted. Trust collapsed. And in the vacuum, Earth's old powers surged forward. Not to protect. To reclaim. Zeke walked the halls of Solace like a ghost. Survivors called him the Trigger, though he hated it. Some hailed him. Some feared what he'd started. Lang confronted him outside the calm chamber. We've received a signal from the Interstellar Council. Emergency Tribunal. They want you to testify. Zeke didn't stop walking. Lang followed. It matters. He turned. To who? To everyone who still believes what you did meant something. Zeke's jaw tightened. What I did tore the mask off. Now the whole face is rotten. Lang placed a hand on his shoulder. Then let them see it clearly. Even rot tells a story. In the central tribunal hall of the Orion Bastion, Zeke stood beneath artificial light so bright it felt like judgment. On one side, Terran envoys, stoic, armored, silent. On the other, neutral systems watching carefully. The Klaxel seat was empty. Lang had warned him, say what must be said. Then say more? He faced the tribunal. Everyone saw the footage. He began. You know what we uncovered. You know who signed it. But what you don't know is what we lost to bring it to light. He paused, let the silence stretch. My brother died thinking Earth still cared. Rel almost died thinking the galaxy could change. And I stood between both, trying to decide if either belief was worth holding onto. A counselor interrupted. Do you believe it was? Zeke met her eyes. Yes. Because even if it's not better now, at least it's real. Another voice rose. Would you do it again? Zeke didn't hesitate. In a second. No applause. Just stillness. Then, this tribunal moves to recognize Sector 9 and Solace as independent neutral humanitarian zones. One by one, systems voted. Approved. Zeke didn't smile. Back at Solace, the sky had changed. No more blockades. No more surveillance. But freedom came quietly, like an overdue apology. Rel stood beside the west outpost wall, scar running down her jaw now. Her eyes followed the Terran fleet withdrawing toward deep space. They're not happy, she said. No, Zeke agreed. Truth never makes anyone happy. She turned to him. So what now? He looked toward the old transmission tower, still humming. We build. And this time, we don't forget who we are. She nodded. And if they come again? Zeke shrugged. Let them. Months passed. Then, one quiet morning, a single Klaxel transport landed just outside the perimeter. No weapons. No escort. Just one occupant. Vesar. Limping. Unarmed. Alone. Zeke met him at the gates, flanked by guards who waited for his command. Vesar raised empty hands. I'm not here to fight. Zeke said nothing. I came because you changed everything. And I need to understand why. Zeke studied him. You already knew the truth. You just thought you could bury it. Vesar nodded. I thought power was clarity. Now I see it's only noise. Zeke crossed his arms. Why come here? Vaysar looked toward the distant skyline. Because this is where the future began. And I want to see if you know what to do with it. A long silence followed. Then Zeke said, You can stay. But you're not above the law here. Not anymore. Vaysar bowed his head. That's fair. That night, Zeke sat alone on the cliff edge where Solace met the void. Below, children chased light drones between shelters. Rel taught scavenged history to a group of mixed-species kids in what used to be a supply shed. Lang argued trade rights with a stubborn merchant over shortwave comms. No flags. No borders. Just people, rebuilding. Zeke pulled a small object from his pocket, a metal key. The same one he carried since Sector 9. He buried it in the dirt beside him. No ceremony. Just release. Behind him, Rel approached. No more ghosts? She asked. Zeke looked at her. Just lessons. She sat beside him. The stars blinked. A new one appeared, an orbital relay, launched hours earlier. It would carry Solace's voice into the systems that still listened. Rel glanced at it. You think anyone's really out there, waiting to hear from us? Zeke leaned back, eyes on the stars. Doesn't matter. Why? He smiled. Because we're not whispering anymore.